FLR fam, what's good? Happy Saturday to FLR family out there. Man, been on a long drive today. So I decided I wanted to sit down, have a cup of coffee, talk a little FLR Dex, decentralized exchange tools. Had a couple of people who dropped some comments asking about Blazeswap. So I figured I would take a look at all of the ones that, I interact with and or use on a regular basis. Blazeswap will be the first one we'll start with. I'll leave the links to these, of course, in the description. So we'll go through Blazeswap, all the things you can do in there. Of course, we know Enosis. There's Xenos. There is Pangolin, which I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Pangolin because there's not a lot of liquidity at all. And then there's also Oracle Swap for Songbird. So let's go back and let's start on Blazeswap. So Blazeswap is available on FLR and or Songbird as well. You've got the traditional swaps. You can see the different tokens that you can swap for FLR and bones, et cetera, et cetera. You've got the pools, different pools that you can either add to or do a custom pool if you wanted to. You've got rewards. So this is, of course, the FTSO rewards. If you provide a liquidity, including Songbird or FLR, then of course there's going to be some FTSO rewards that'll come associated with that as well. So right now I'm on the FLR mainnet. Let me pop over to Songbird real quick on this Blazeswap app. And you can find Blazeswap on Twitter. I do have them here. Their Twitter account is @BlazeswapDex on Twitter. So you can find them on Twitter, as most of these guys are on Twitter. Swapping capabilities, there's SGB. And then you see the different tokens that you can swap for that they've got loaded in here. There's XFi, XDC, etc. Right? You got some pools, and you've got rewards, same thing from that standpoint. So you've got the swap capabilities. There are some pools that are in here. I'm not really sure why those pools are not showing up, but if you contribute to the pool, as it says here, liquidity providers earn a 0.3% fee on all trades, proportional to their share of the pool fees. So let me pop over here and see if anything. Nothing's coming up. There is pools that should populate on Blazeswap. I'm not sure why they're not populating for some reason, but you can do very similar to Enosis. You can do some farms, some contributing to the pools, straight liquidity or some farming. FLR and Songbird. Same thing with, when you provide liquidity, remember, you got to have a 50% for the liquidity provision. You earn the fees, but again, this is not financial advice. But understand, whenever you participate in farming, liquidity pools, typically you're earning the native token, like, for example, Blazeswap or Enosis token or Zenos token. Typically, you're going to be earning their tokens if you participate in those farms and you participate in the pool, liquidity pool. But with impermanent loss, whatever pool you participate in, understand you could lose proportional value as the market goes up or down, but you could also lose one token for another. So if you contribute 50 FLR and 50 USDT, the market goes in the wrong direction. You might end up with more USDT and less FLR. So, typically, I don't really play a lot in the farms, in the pools, with FLR, with SGB. I'll use some of the maybe some of the native token that I have, or some other stuff maybe I've won or have earned, and then maybe reinvest and compound that back in. But I don't usually use FLR or SGB in any of these pools. So just keep that in mind. So there's Blazeswap for you. So let's take a look at Enosis. I know I've already done a video on the Enosis Dex. So obviously, you've got Flare. We also have Songbird that the Enosis Dex works on. Here's the other different tokens that you can swap Flare for: S-Flare, USDT, Quan, ApeSys, HLN, Bones. So I think most of us probably know, since I've done another video, but this is the Enosis Dex. And again, dex.enosis.global. I'll leave those links in the description. But you can simply swap out tokens. You can provide liquidity and earn the native token of Enosis, which on Flare is going to be ApeSys. On the Songbird network, it's going to be SFIN. But you've got in Enosis, you've got the farms, where you can go and you can do some farming for some yield. Here's the different farming pools, shows you what their APYs are and what you might decide you want to participate in. So you've got some single side staking pools like XFi, SFIN, and then you've got some liquidity pairs like Songbird and Canary Dollar, or Songbird and SFIN, or Songbird and XDC. If you click in that particular pair, it will tell you, what the pool supply is, the reward rate, how much is staked, APY, your position, your stake, etc. So, and then it also tells you up here what you get rewarded. So this yield, this 33% APY, pays out in SFIN, right? So, again, this is not financial advice, but typically if I'm going to play in these pools, I'm not playing with my SGB. I'm not playing with Flare. My objective is to earn the APY and truly to swap out of that as quickly as possible. My mentality is typically when I'm playing in this one, I'm not using my tokens that I want to hodl and hold for a long time. And in this case, Flare, SGB, I feel like Flare and SGB are going to be more valuable with the utility than XDC, than SFIN, than ApeSys. So, I'm typically going to take that yield and swap it quickly over to SGB or Flare, depending on what network I'm on. Unless I have a specific plan in motion, like right now, I'm trying to aggregate at least one SFIN and as much ApeSys as I can, because I've been swapping those out since I've been participating in these liquidity pools. But typically understand that most of the times, if the reward token of that site, like in this case, SFIN is the reward token, typically the tokens that are required or requested in liquidity pair may hold a higher value proposition than the reward token, right? So it's, in essence, SFIN is going to have a lot of fantastic utility, no question. But XDC they're asking for SFIN, which of course is their native token, and XDC, right? So we know XDC has a lot of value proposition, and in return, give us your XDC, which could be loss. You could suffer some impermanent loss and end up with more XFIN, but then they're going to reward you an SFIN. So you may start with 1,000 XDC, end up with 500, but hey, you've gotten 33% reward in SFIN. Well, again, unless you have a specific plan, understand that impermanent loss is likely, very likely. And so my strategy has typically been, when I'm playing in these LP pairs, is to use that APY to buy a token that I want, to swap it out for a token that I want. So they're paying me in SFIN. I'm taking that reward in SFIN. I'm claiming that reward in SFIN. And then I'm going over to the DEX and I'm swapping it for SGB or swapping it for ETH. I've been stacking some ETH over here as well with these SFIN rewards. Or maybe I'm stacking it with XDC, right? So I understand you got to have a strategy, you got to have a plan. You have to understand that, when you play in these pools, they are typically creating the pools with some pretty valuable tokens that got some pretty high upside. And that typically is what drives the APY, right? That drives the APY. So if you look at the APY, it's all about behavioral things, right? Behaviorally speaking, what do we want? We want to incentivize certain behavior. So in this case, there's a great incentivization for SGB tokens. There's a great incentivization for SGB ETH as well. You've got, some pretty good incentivization for some other tokens, like this one is XFI and CAN, which is a Canary dollar. The reason why that's so high, native token XFI, and then Canary dollar, which is the stable coin over on Enosis. So that's why they're going to pay some pretty good APY on that one. So typically, as you can see in this case, I've got 0.25 SFIN to claim. I'm going to let that just kind of stack up. I'm just going to let it stack up, keep stacking up until I get to 1 SFIN. I have been pulling that out. I have been swapping it for SGB, but right now I'm just going to let that stack up as much as possible. Once I probably get to maybe 1 SFIN, then I'll go back to my strategy once again of swapping it out for ETH, swapping it out for XDC, swapping it out for SGB, which I've been doing that for the last couple of years, guys. So understand, I just stopped pulling this. I've typically been pulling this almost every day and swapping. But again, behaviorally speaking, they're going to reward you out with their token, which may or may not have the same value proposition. You could suffer impermanent loss, which means you might give up. Of course, it'll balance itself out, of course, right? So if you had 1,000 SGB and you had $1,000 or 1,000 value of Canary dollar, you may end up with more Canary dollar and less SGB with the impermanent loss. Of course, the associated dollar value in terms of where the market was and where it is should stay the same. So if the value of that goes up, the value is still going to be the same. It's just a matter of you could have more Canary dollars than SGB. And so the way that I try to offset that and balance that when I was doing that is really just swapping that reward out for the token that I want. In that case, if I was going to play with SGB or Flare, I'm going to be swapping it out straight away every day and getting Flare or Bitcoin or Ethereum or et cetera. So this is Enosis. They have the farms. Of course, they have the DEX. And I think, again, I went through a lot of the other capabilities and functions, airdrops to claim in the HLN, things of that nature that are there. When you participate in these pools, if you participate in SGB, in this case, we're on the Songbird network. If you participate in SGB, you do get delegation rewards. They do delegate it, and you do get paid delegation rewards at the same intervals that you get it with any other FTSO that you delegate to. Enosis chooses and picks the FTSO that they delegate to. You don't do that yourself. When you put your SGB in here, your SGB is automatically delegated by them to a FTSO provider. Okay. All right, so let's go look at Zenos Swap. Zenos Swap. Zenos Swap has, of course, the swap feature. They've got their native token or a couple of their native tokens. FGKB and XFG are some of their native tokens that they work with. You can learn more about Zenos Swap down here. Their link tree, their Twitter, their Discord. You can learn more about them. But this is another swapping DEX that has some liquidity. It has farms as well. So if you click on the farm. Again, you can go and look at the APR or the APYs that they're offering. You can look at the liquidity. So in this case, you can contribute XFG, which is one of their native tokens, with wrap flare. You have 172% APR. Liquidity is 22.97, so a little under, quite a little over $2,000. So again, this is a perfect example. Look at these APRs, right? These are the S-Flare XFG. So these are pairs that they're incentivizing you to lock up some funds in LP tokens for XFG and wrap flare, and they'll pay you 172% APR. If you go there, you click, you can get an LP. So you can either set up your LP through the liquidity tab, or you can set it up through clicking Get XFG Wrap Flare LP, right? And then you can see they pay you out in XFG, which is, again, their native token. The DEX has a native token typically. That's what they're going to reward you for locking up your liquidity on the site. And they'll pay you that. And then you harvest you're going to obviously you're going to provide the liquidity. You're going to stake it over here, and then you'll start earning the 171%. And you harvest it, go in there, and you can grab it every day, every other day, every 2 or 3 days, whatever. But again, same philosophy, right? Hey, we want, behaviorally speaking wise, we want to incentivize you to lock up this type of liquidity pair, and we'll pay you some handsome APRs. But again, you have impermanent loss. And then again, do I value XFG or FGKB? Do I value those tokens higher than I do my FLR or my SGB or my SFLR? I don't. Again, not financial advice, not dumping down on Zenos or their tokens or anyone's tokens. I'm just telling you, do I value them as high as I do FLR and SGB? And the answer to that is no. So that doesn't mean I wouldn't play in these. If someone gives me some free XFG or whatever the case may be, I may throw it in there and play with it, and immediately keep taking and harvesting the rewards and swapping that over to get more FLR, more SFLR. I probably would take the SFLR in this case. But typically I'm not going to be participating in a wrap FLR or an SFLR liquidity pool. I don't really care. That's just not the way I would value the use of those tokens. But again, that's me. You can do what you want to do. If you do have a plan, have a strategy. But here goes Zenos. So Zenos, you see they have the swap feature. They have the farming. So you got farms. They've got the liquidity. So here you can add liquidity. Remember, you can do it this way, right? Click here, add liquidity, or you can go through the farms. And you can click there, and you can do it there, where you can. This will take you to where you can set up and do your own liquidity. So I click on that. It says add FLR, add XFG, and create an LP pair. So let's see. So if I had, I think I have some wrap FLR. Didn't show up. But if I had some wrap FLR and some XFG, again, it's got to be an equal amount in terms of its value. This, of course, will balance it out and make sure anyway. You'll create the LP pair. Once you create the LP pair, then you would go back to the farm, and you would stake it. You would stake it over here, and enable staking, stake it, and you'll begin to start earning harvest or XFG tokens. So there are the pools feature. There's NFT pools as well. Stake your NFTs to earn rewards that Zenos offers. But that's the Zenos. Check Zenos out. It's got some AI aspects to it. But check it out. It's interesting. I haven't used Zenos a lot, but I do have them bookmarked and have run into them a little bit. Oracle Swap is the next one. Let's get to Songbird, because Oracle Swap is active on Songbird. So give me a sec here. Let me flip my network over to Songbird, the Canary network. Okay, here we go. All right. So Oracle works on the Songbird. Oracle Swap. So Oracle, again, the native token is Oracle and Oracle Swap. You can see there's a bunch of different tokens you can swap to, swap from, swap back and forth. You can even swap SGB to WSGB. Typically, when I'm using these dexes, I'm mostly in Enosis. So I'll look at Enosis and see what their exchange is. Sometimes I'll check this one, but whoever gives me the best exchange to swap, I'll do that. But I almost never swap SGB for WSGB. I just do it in the Bifrost wallet. It's just a quick wrap. So I almost never do that. There's no need to incur anything to do that. But so we got swapping on Oracle, where you can swap the tokens. They've got some pools as well. I don't think there's a lot happening right now. But liquidity provider, again, if you participate in the pools, there are rewards. They earn 0.25% fee on all trades, proportional to your share of the pool. Very similar. Most of them are all the same. They've got a staking where you can stake, maximize your yield by staking Oracle for X Oracle. So I actually have some Oracle that I got free. So I could come over here and I could stake that and start earning X Oracle. There's some compounding capabilities and things of that nature and benefits for doing that, things of that nature. But swap, pools, staking, there's NFT staking. And then here's your farms. There's farming as well. Again, this is on the Songbird Canary Network, not FLR for Oracle Swap. Here goes some different, you can see by total value locked, some different farms, and you can also see, how much liquidity is locked up and what APYs that they're paying. So there's NFTs coming soon, it looks like. There's analytics. Let's see, analytics is going to take us to Gecko Terminal. And the Gecko Terminal, if you didn't know, Gecko Terminal will also show you all of the different dexes that are running on FLR and on Songbird. So, notice here, you've also got FeatherSwap. FeatherSwap had some issues. I haven't been messing with FeatherSwap at all. I think they were hacked. Zenos Swap, Penguin, Songbird, Oracle Swap, Blazeswap, and ENOsys Dex, right? And so depending on which one you're in, this is the Oracle Swap pool. You can click this link. It'll take you to the website. It'll also show you what's happening in terms of pricing for each of these pairs, what's happening in terms of liquidity, in terms of volume, so you can kind of see what's going on there. But let's go back to Oracle Swap. There is an earn feature on Oracle Swap. Give me a sec here. Let's make it connected in Songbird. So I don't have any SGP in here, but there's an earn feature. You can go back to the Dex, farming, NFT, staking, pooling, and then the normal swap feature. So that's Oracle Swap. Again, Penguin doesn't look like it's really operating right now, so I'm not going to spend too much time. There's not really much liquidity, but I've used Penguin on Avalanche a lot. But there is Penguin Songbird that's out there, but there's not a lot of farming and things of that nature right now that's going on that. So let me go here. Let's go MetaMask. Just connect our wallet. I'll just connect Penguin so you can see what it looks like. Waiting on it to confirm and connect. Showing initializing. And while it's doing that, I'll just tell you again, just to reiterate, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but okay, we're connected to Songbird. You see, you can swap over here. Penguin is the native token. You can do some swapping over here. But whenever you start participating in farms on these dexes and you see those juicy APYs, just understand and remember that, you're going to run into impermanent loss. Impermanent loss means you could lose the total quantity of one of your tokens that you put in that liquidity pair, depending on if it goes up or down. And it can happen in the positive range as well. But impermanent loss is very real. So this is risky. You can lose money. Typically if they're paying you out a juicy APY, it's trying to get you to give up some tokens that I think they value more, right? Because they're using inflation and their own native token in order to incentivize you this 110% APY to put your SGB in there and to link it up with Oracle, right? But you can see here goes the pools and all the different farms that Penguin does have on Songbird. Looks like it's working now. Earlier it wasn't working. You can add liquidity, same thing. You're going to, click on that. It's going to have you add your 50% of each token. So if you don't have it, you don't have 50% Oracle, of course, you're going to have to go back to the swap. You're going to have to swap some of your SGB for Oracle, and then you can go back to that pool and then participate in the pool. So you come back here at SGB. You go to find the Oracle token. Where's Oracle? Where are we? Oh, there it is. Oracle token. You'd swap 50%, right? Now that you got 50%, you go back over to your pools, and then you're going to create the pair. I'm running my computer's been running a little bit slow, guys, so forgive me. But you're going to create the pair, liquidity pair, add the liquidity, stake it in there, and start earning that juicy APY that they're offering. But again, my strategy whenever I play in these pools is typically to get in and get out, claim and harvest as quickly as possible, swap it to what I want, whether that's the token that I'm using in the pair or just one that I want to stack more of. I've been stacking on Enosis, Ethereum a lot because I don't have a lot of ETH. I mean, I have some, but not a lot. So I was using a lot of the yields to swap over for ETH to start building up a little ETH bag. So, but again, that's my strategy. That's what I was doing. And subsequently, I'm continuing to build up a little ETH bag as well. So, all right, guys. So I'm going to sign off here now. Wanted to jump on and kind of go through some DEX tools. Swap and shop is what they say. Swap and shop. But you've got Enosis. We went through Enosis, Blazeswap, Xenos, and we went through Pangolin Flare. We also went through Oracle Swap as well. So there you have it. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, anything I can do to help. I'll be back at some point in time with another video. I do want to start looking some more at the FTSO, the infrastructure provider, the validators. Each of those have dApps, right? I think I shared one of them, FLR.space, and I think Oracle, Alpha Oracle or something like that. But each of them have dApps or websites. Not all of them do, but some of them do. And some of them are building some pretty good value-added services inside of their website or inside of their dApps. So, I want to, keep kind of researching and trying to see if I can find some that have some useful tools. And as I find those, I try to come, leverage them, utilize them, and then share those as well with you. So I'm going to sign off now, but that's a video that I'm probably going to be working on soon because FLR.space has updated some stuff and some information, which is pretty cool. I ran into another site that's got some pretty good information as well as far as those guys. So listen, the FTSOs have a function. The validators have a function. They're those infrastructure providers. But some of those guys spin out some pretty cool stuff, some pretty cool value-added stuff. Focus, Focus, for example, has the Focus passes. Getting ready to open up an NFT marketplace to maybe battle Xhaven, right? So some of those infrastructure providers have some pretty cool value-added services that they offer, and so I would encourage you to find them on Twitter, find them on Flare's website, check out and see if they got some websites. Be careful. I always test everything you see me doing typically on here is not in my true wallet. It's in a wallet that has nothing that I'm concerned about losing. It's my burner wallet, if you will. So be careful, as always, clicking any links that you don't know. One cool thing about Twitter is if you open something up in Twitter, it's going to open up in Twitter's infrastructure. So if I'm going to do anything, I usually will find that company on Twitter. If I can't find them on Twitter, then typically I won't mess with them. But I'll find them on Twitter. I'll see if I can click on the link in their description inside of Twitter so that it protects me. And again, I typically do this on my phone, not my computer. So I'll go to Twitter. I'll find Oracle on Twitter, or find Blazeswap on Twitter. And then I'll open up this link, but I do it on my phone because on your computer, everything is open game, fair game. On the phone, it pops up a kind of a protection window inside of X. And so I'll at least look at what I'm working with. And then, maybe I'll copy it and paste it into my burner wallet if I feel confident. But most of those FTSOs, they do have websites, they do have dApps. So I'm trying to, do a little research, trying to find out which ones have some stuff and which ones have some pretty cool tools. And they're continuing to build value-added services beyond just staking and delegating and giving us the rewards. Some of them are building some pretty cool stuff, NFT programs, things of that nature. So anyway, guys, that's all I have right now. Lots happening on Flare. Open beta. If you haven't tested the Fassets in the open beta, go test it. I did a video on testing open beta Fassets. There's also Enosis has the V3 version of their Dex. So go check that out of their website. That's also in the video. XDeFi has one. Pretty soon, Kinetics will have an open beta. And their Joule token launches on July 23rd, by the way. So participate in those open betas that are out there. Get familiar, get used to it in a safe environment. And again, I typically will use a burner wallet. I use a burner wallet when I'm doing those tests. When I'm playing around those betas, I use a burner wallet. I don't connect it to my real wallet at all. So that's all I got for now, guys. Hey, I appreciate you stopping in. Appreciate you, as always, your comments, your feedback. Whoever was out there, you know who you are, who asked if I would go over some Blazeswap stuff for you. So hopefully you found this helpful. Let me know if anything I can do. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon.